What's up, everyone? What's up, Steven?
Yo, all well, all well. What's up
Yeah,
with you?
nothing much. Finally happy. I've been smiling since for 2 days. Yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah,
slept well for
yeah,
2, 3 days. I mean,
yeah,
not like I wasn't sleeping well when United were underperforming,
yeah,
but you guys know what I mean.
yeah. I think you told me about it after, when United won. You slept. You slept like a
Yes,
baby. Slept like
I
a
slept
bear.
like a baby.
Yeah, bare
I
naked
slept like a
baby.
baby,
Yeah,
bitch. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. So
I was
now
crying for milk and all in the middle of
Yeah,
the
okay,
night.
okay.
That's
That's too
how
much.
good I
That's too much.
slept.
I verged into line of creepy. You just made it even worse. Don't do that. Don't do that. That was so bad.
we are the creepy cranberry boys.
Yeah, yeah.
That didn't make any sense at
Don't,
all, but still.
don't give us a name. Don't give us a name. Don't give us a name. Let's just move along. Let's just forget.
we
I even
were
said that. Let's just move along. Let's just move away from that.
Yeah, let's
Okay.
just talk about Luke Shaw
Yeah.
because what a dumb fuck he is.
Uh,
What an absolute dumb fuck he is.
okay. Yeah. So we are starting off with United. All right.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
Yeah.
No,
So
we'll start in the order of the matches that happened.
okay. Yeah. Yeah.
So
Perfect. Perfect.
I think the first big game was obviously the Merseyside derby.
Yeah, Merseyside derby.
Oh, by the way, like I see there are no other sports that, like important thing that is happening in any other sports to talk about.
Yeah.
IPL, I mean, it's just yesterday. Oh, by the way, I think Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Sunday there were two matches.
Mm-hmm.
Both the matches ended in super overs.
Yeah, I think I
So
caught one of them.
yeah, the match that was played in the afternoon ended in a
Yeah.
super over
Mm-hmm.
between Sunrisers Hyderabad and KKR,
Mm-hmm.
which was won by KKR in the super over.
Mm-hmm.
And the match that was played in the night, which was between Mumbai and Punjab,
Yeah.
that was an even crazy match because after the game was tied, they played a super over. That super over got tied. Then they played a second super over.
Whoa.
So Punjab won in the second super
It's
over.
it's like one super over
So
had another baby.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh fuck.
I
RIP to that.
I don't know, dude. We are still in that baby reference. I don't know why what's going on today. I don't know. It's kind of creepy. It's kind of
So
creepy. Yeah.
so do you know Zakir Khan? He's a very popular
Yeah, yeah,
Indian stand-up
comedian.
comedian.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he had put a reel
Yeah.
saying that if this is how IPL is, we can just watch it for only 1 over.
Yeah.
Why watch the entire match when it all boils down to that 1 over?
Exactly.
So yeah.
IPL
So
is
some of the IPL games have been interesting, but
yeah.
otherwise it's been pretty normal.
Yeah, but overall, I mean, it's kind of hard, right? Like, because if you compare that to football, even though there are no fans at the stadium, football is just a game of 90 minutes. It gets over very quickly. But compared to cricket,
Yeah.
even if it's a 20-over game, I think a 20-over game takes what, like 3-4 hours?
No, I think it's just that this season it's been like I don't know, it's been like a rudder because most of the games have been quite boring.
Yeah.
But otherwise, in general, IPL is so fun. Like
Yeah.
it's extremely entertaining. I enjoy watching IPL actually.
I don't know, but I think mostly it's
So
because of the fans, because the game is already a long format game and you need fans to energize it,
no, I mean there are millions of fans who are watching IPL on TV.
Yeah, on
So
TV. I
and
mean,
now that
in the stadium, like to fill that energy into the game,
yeah.
Yeah,
Yes,
exactly.
yes, yes.
So yeah,
Yeah.
anyways. So I think not a lot to talk about when it comes to IPL, right?
Nothing much. Nothing
Yeah.
much.
So I think we can move on to the football
Premier
aspect
League.
of it, yeah, Premier League and the Merseyside
Yeah.
derby.
Oh, speaking of other leagues and all, I think Barca and Madrid
Mm-hmm.
lost to some I don't know lower level teams and all.
Mm-hmm.
So Barca lost to Getafe, however you pronounce that,
Getafe.
and Getafe,
Yeah.
and Madrid lost to some team called Cadiz.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what are these obscure teams that come up every year in the Spanish league?
And if any Spanish listener is listening to this, we apologize first of all.
Yeah, the La Liga fans.
Yeah, don't worry about it. Stebin is gonna get cancelled very soon, so I assure you that. Yeah, so make sure to stay tuned
I have
for
stopped paying the premium subscription for this podcast.
Yeah,
I mean, it's our own podcast, and still I have to pay a subscription premium fee
dude.
for it.
I'm not getting.
See my halat, guys.
I'm not getting anything. Who are you paying to? Who are you paying to? I'm not getting anything.
No, you were talking about cancelling and all. No, so I was
okay.
just taking in that angle.
Yeah,
Hey, dude, just for the sake of the joke, just be affirmative.
Okay, got it. No, I was actually kind of concerned. I was like, Stephen giving me some money. When did I get it? I was like, what is going on?
That is at least. I mean, that will only happen once we once we sign a deal with with Spotify.
But again, they will be the one who will be giving us money, not you, right?
No, dude, try and understand the joke. Will you? I mean, why would you think that we will ever be signed by Spotify?
And
We will
I
never
know,
sign a deal with
dude,
Spotify.
it's comforting. It's comforting. In 2020, it's comforting to think like that. So yeah. So anyways,
Yeah.
let's move on to the match. Let's finally move on to the match.
Yeah.
So what did you think about it?
So that's it from La Liga because
Yeah.
that's all I know.
That's even me
And
too. Yeah. I don't even know which channel we
Premier
get here.
League, yeah, it's available on Facebook of all platforms. So screw it.
Okay, yeah. So okay, so
Moving to
what
the
did you
Premier
think?
League.
Yeah, so what do you think about what did you think of the match, Merseyside derby?
Yeah, it was quite an exciting game. Again, lots of
Yeah,
goals.
lots of controversies.
Surprisingly, there was one game which ended in a 0-0 draw, which is completely in this time.
Yeah,
Burnley and what's the other team? Which was the other team?
I think it
Burnley and
was.
West Brom.
Yeah.
Burnley and West Brom. It ended in a 0-0 draw. Of all the crazy things that was happening in the Premier League, that's been happening in the Premier League. This was the last thing we expected. A 0-0 draw in Premier League.
Yeah.
So it's quite fresh and it's quite satisfying to see a 0-0 draw amidst such high-scoring goal fests. So yeah, starting off with the Merseyside derby, I think it was a very entertaining game. I had a lot of fun watching. And Liverpool were really good in the first half.
Yeah.
But in the second half, even Everton caught up and, like that midfield man, that James, that Colombian motherfucker.
And
Doucouré, Alan. Alan
yeah.
being the being the bulldog he is in that holding role in that deep lying midfielder position. Yeah. I mean, it was just absolute fun. And thankfully, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, DCL, he was amidst goals, got me some points in FPL. So, by the way, I think both of us had a very good weekend in FPL as well. Dhanush scored in excess of 70 points.
70 points, yes.
I scored 65 plus points.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, the Merseyside derby was pretty good. It was a very entertaining match to watch. I enjoyed watching it. Yeah. I thought Liverpool deserved to win because they were more threatening on the attack side. And they were looking very, 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 very dangerous in that first half.
Yeah.
And sadly, not so sad it's kind of a good news for United fans. But sadly, for football fans, Van Dijk is out for the rest of the season.
Exactly.
With a horrible injury, which I felt should have been a red card.
Yeah.
Against Pickford.
Exactly.
I was in my opinion, it was a clear red card.
Yeah. Because
it was a horrible challenge on Van Dijk. So because of that, Van Dijk, he is out for the rest of the season. His tore his ACL, and that's the thing about ACL, man. Like you are never the same player once you take a hit, once you get an ACL injury.
Exactly, and also
considering it happened with Van Dijk, who is at the moment the best defender in the world,
and really also the most consistent player for Liverpool. Like he hasn't benched or like has not played for Liverpool like even for a single game. I think not more than 2 games. I think.
He has not been benched, I think.
Sorry, not been benched. Sorry, not been benched. Yeah, I'm already getting feels.
He was, I think, last year he was one of the finalists for the Ballon d'Or.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? One of the top 3 finalists, which goes on to show what a good player he is.
Exactly.
So it's really sad for football fans, but I'm not complaining because it's Van Dijk.
Yeah, true. But I would say that even Pickford, he didn't even get any kind of punishment from the FA as well. Like after such a horrible tackle from.
That was really bad.
Yeah.
That was very, very harsh.
And I don't get it how the referee didn't give a red card. Like even the referee would have seen that it was a horrible tackle, right? Like
or at least he could have referred the VAR.
Exactly.
And consulted the assistant referee.
We need to talk about that, but we'll get to it. But again, like it was so weird. Like the way that he went into the challenge with that kind of scissor kick kind of fashion towards the ball. Like it was very weird.
Yeah. He almost broke his leg there, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, it was so scary to watch. The impact of collision was really bad.
Exactly.
And criticizing VAR again, there was this there was the Henderson goal, which the late goal that Liverpool scored, and they thought they had won it. Yeah. So Mane's body, dude, I think it was just a millimeter of it.
If you look at it,
and they awarded it the offside. They gave it the offside.
If you look at that carefully, like I don't even think his arm was offside. Like it looks like his shirt.
No.
His flailing offside. It's not even his arm. Like it looks like his shirt, like the shirt piece is kind of flailing offside. And like I've heard a lot of arguments online when it comes to VAR. Like one of the arguments that I saw that the decision shouldn't have been given against Liverpool was like the camera that they use in VAR doesn't even have a lot of resolution to make that kind of millimeter kind of decision as well. So if it was like
makes sense.
if it was like a 4K or 8K footage, like you can like zoom into it and like give a proper like millimeter decision. But this is like some shitty 1080p, 720p, like what we use here in our podcast, Like, come on, VAR, you are like $1 billion franchise for Premier League. You got to use better cameras than that. Like it doesn't.
Because even the best camera angles that they have, like when they zoom, 30x and more, that image is very, very like dodgy. There's a lot of blurred image and all that, so you can't clearly make out of it.
Exactly.
So that was very harsh on Liverpool, which I think Liverpool deserved to win that game 3-2 at least towards the end, because they played really well. I mean, not taking away any credit from Everton. They also did play well, but they were on the break most of the times. Liverpool were menacing. And man, it's so important that Mane has to play in the team, because that guy brings so much to the table, man.
Exactly.
You could see in the previous games when he wasn't there, and that sort of fire was missing. Mane is just an absolute beast, dude. I think he is like sometimes I feel he's much better than Salah in a lot of other aspects.
The pressing that Liverpool actually do starts from Mane and Henderson. Like they are the ones who do the lot of pressing when it comes to Liverpool. And also like
Mane is so strong, very, very strong.
Exactly. And also like, again, I don't want to be touting on this, but again, coming back to VAR, like the VAR was put into the game so that there could be clear and obvious decision. But with VAR, again and again, it's been like putting in confusion after confusion with each and every decision, like with most of the decision that it is trying to make. And also like, I don't even get the kind of people who are making this decision. Like, are they not footballing people? Like even the VAR decision when it comes to Van Dijk's injury, like of course they saw it earlier to see whether to give a card to Pickford or not. And if you're a footballing person, and like after, if you're a footballing person, like for example, after the first half tackle that Pickford did on Van Dijk, there were pundits who were talking about the fact that that was like a straight red card. Like if you could see what happened to him. Like the footballers know like what kind of tackle that was. Like the referee should know like what kind of tackle that was. I mean,
because it happened right in front of his eye. Like
exactly.
There's no way he could have missed it.
Exactly. And also like the people who are making the decision, like what kind of aptitude do they have when it comes to football and how people tackle? Like I don't get it. Like who are these people who are making these decisions? Are they really football people or just some interns, just making decisions when it comes to
I think it's Ed Woodward's men or maybe John Henry's men.
Yeah, exactly. Like I think they're trying to promote like the big project or like European Super League.
Yeah, this is their form of resistance. Maybe.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but again, coming back to Mane's thing, like of course, like even if he was like a millimeter offside, dude, I don't know how does that give advantage to Liverpool to score a goal.
I swear, dude. I swear.
I don't get it.
Well, that's why I absolutely hate that offside rule, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, like, obviously, when it works in favor of United, I'm up for it. But otherwise, this offside rule is just so, I don't know. Like, if you're offside by a considerable distance and if it is clearly visible, then it's fine.
Yeah.
But this thing and all, like, if you're taking into account, it's so sad on the team. Because there have been so many cases where results have turned against the team.
Exactly.
And it has ended up in disappointing results for them.
Yeah. And I know a lot
of people, if you I think in last season or last season, there was the City versus Spurs game, right? Where City at the last moment, Raheem Sterling scored that 5th goal. And they start celebrating as though they won the whole tournament. And then at the last moment, it was turned against them. That was a completely heartbreaking moment for City and all that stuff.
Exactly.
Guardiola went absolutely insane after that.
Exactly. Like I don't like. Of course, there would be a lot of people who would argue against what we are trying to say right now. But they might put up an excuse saying that like these are like professional athletes. There are like small margins when it comes to sports when you're at, especially when you're playing at this kind of level. But again, dude, like millimeter, we are just humans. We are not robots. Like millimeter doesn't make any difference. Like millimeter is
Exactly.
something that like Mane, even if Mane's like pubic hair was like offside, doesn't mean that he would have a a special kind of advantage.
Any
Yeah,
advantage. Yeah,
exactly.
it's not like there's going to be a lot of adrenaline in that shot.
Exactly. Like, I mean, I get it if he's like half a foot offside or maybe even 1 foot. Like, I get it. Maybe you have a running start. Maybe there might be an advantage. Like millimeters,
Hmm.
centimeters, like that is just absurd. Like, I don't know how does that give advantage to the attackers. It's just like
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know the people who are making these rules. I don't even know if they like football, if they know football. It's just there are people in football right now who don't even know a lot of stuff about football, like making
Yeah.
important decisions.
Correct. And
It-
the helm of all the
yeah,
affairs. True.
it's sad to see. But anyways, coming back to the
It's
game, like I think like the most underrated player, I think not a lot of people who focused on, I mean, a lot of people who are praising him in this game was Thiago. Thiago was so
Oh
good,
man, he was so good. He
so
was
good.
so good. I
He was
completely
so
forgot
good.
to mention him.
Yeah,
Like that, like you can clearly see with the class that he plays with, the swagger that he plays with.
the
I mean, he's
passes
not a
that he was
very
putting.
intimidating figure,
Yeah, the
right? Like he's
passes.
not a very intimidating figure. He's not
Yeah,
that tall. I mean,
yeah,
he's well built, but he does not look like an Adama Traore.
yeah,
But
exactly.
man, the way he bosses the midfield is just so pleasing to the eye.
I think it was a second goal. I think he played like a pass, like a no look pass. He played right to Mane, and Mane
Yeah.
put it.
And
That was such.
that was the offside moment.
Yeah, that was the
So
offside
that
moment.
was the
Yeah,
third goal. That
third goal.
was the
Yeah.
move which resulted into the third goal. So that
Oh,
was the offside moment.
that was such an amazing pass, dude. Like 29 million for the player like his quality. Liverpool, they bought a
I think
bargain.
steal of the year.
Steal
Steal
of
of
the
the
year,
year.
for sure, for sure. Oh my God, he was like
What a
dictating the
guy.
entire Liverpool midfield, like
Yeah.
supplying in
And
balls everywhere.
like he's got that I don't know Zlatan kind of vibe when he
Yeah,
plays. Like
yeah,
he's like I think when he comes onto the pitch, that song plays.
yeah,
Move, pitch,
yeah,
get out the way. I think that song automatically plays when he
yeah.
enters the field,
And he looks
because
like
that's
that
how
too.
his attitude is.
Yeah, and he
Yeah,
looks like
yeah,
that too.
that's
Full of
yeah, like, and he
intimidating.
is always like in Bayern and in Barca. I don't know about Barca, but in Bayern, he was the most beloved guy in the team. Everybody
Yeah,
loved him,
yeah,
right? Like, and he's got a very good record with everyone. So
yeah,
everyone writes in the team, and Klopp really likes him as well.
yeah. True,
So
true, true.
it's so nice to see when somebody of that caliber performs also up to
Yeah,
his potential or whatever it is. I mean, he's
but
a proven
yeah,
world-class midfielder. There's
yeah.
nothing more that he has to prove because he won almost everything.
Exactly. But there was
Amazing player, dude.
there
Nothing
was a
to speak
slight
about.
panic, especially when Richarlison, came in with that tackle to Thiago. There was like,
Hmm.
another signs of danger, whether there would be another player injured. But
Yeah.
Richarlison, man,
Yeah.
what kind of tackle was
It's
that? Like, I don't get it.
He was actually kind of playing well until that moment. He was
Yeah,
doing okay.
yeah.
He was doing like some good dribbles and all of that stuff,
But he
cutting in
doesn't have the
stuff.
football
But
intelligence, dude. Like, I don't get, he doesn't have that football
that was
intelligence.
completely reckless.
Yeah,
That was completely
exactly.
reckless, that
Yeah.
challenge.
I mean,
Deserved
Richarlison
red card.
is a good player, like a really good player. Like Barcelona were after
Actually,
him.
very good player.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Barcelona were
yeah.
after him, but sometimes his football intelligence is so bad. Like he doesn't know when to shoot, when to
Hmm.
pass. It's kind of irritating.
No, but in his defense, I think last year, if you look at him, he was their best player in some
Yeah,
sense
yeah,
because he's created a lot of chances. He scored tons
yeah,
of goals as well, a lot of
yeah,
assists as well. And even
yeah,
this season, he's been doing fairly well. Like
yeah,
even though he's not scoring as many goals as DCL is,
yeah.
but still
But
he's involved in a lot of goal
yeah,
scoring things.
he puts in that work, that work rate into the team. That's really
I mean,
commendable, man.
it's that Brazilian talent that you're
Yeah,
bringing. So
exactly.
South American talents always do well.
Yeah,
So anyway,
but all in all, like the Merseyside derby was a great game,
yeah,
and
as expected, it was quite exciting.
exactly, and I don't know what curse it has. Like every single matches, like most of the matches end up with a draw. Like there's never a winner.
Yeah,
What is
yeah,
up with that?
correct,
Oh yeah,
correct.
yeah. I think, but it was
Maybe
even though
one of the teams should move out to a different city. Then
exactly,
we'll start
exactly.
to see the result.
Yeah, that could happen. You never know. But again, like I felt like Liverpool should have won this match. Like that goal
Yeah, Liverpool should
should
have taken the game because they were
never.
damn good.
Yeah, exactly. Never should have been disallowed. Like it doesn't make any sense at all. How that goal
Correct,
would be
correct.
disallowed. But
I mean,
anyways, yeah,
Liverpool had it in them after that 7-2
yeah,
thrashing.
yeah,
And it was clear in the team that they have rectified their
yeah.
mistakes and they have that attitude to come back and do better.
Exactly.
That was clearly reflected in the game,
Yeah,
and it was
exactly.
nice to watch. They played some wonderful football.
Yeah, yeah, they did. So with
Yes.
that, I think we'll move on to the next big match, and that was City versus Arsenal.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes, yes. What did you think of the game?
City, I would say that City were actually pretty good. Like, they weren't bad. But I would say again, Arsenal also did play well. Like towards the end of the second half, I mean, in the first half they did play well, and then in the second half, I would say City then came back and they played really well. But there were certain glimpses
Hmm.
when it came to Arsenal. From the back they were actually taking the ball out from the back really well,
Yeah.
but they couldn't
Hmm.
find that finishing move, to finish off City to score goals.
Correct.
I don't know. I like
Correct. Correct.
Gabriel was really good. Gabriel was good. Gabriel Tierney was actually really good in that
Hmm.
match. But I would
And
say,
how good was that kid, dude?
yeah,
William
Saka,
Saliba.
Saka, Saliba.
Bak,
No, it's Saka, right?
Bakaya. Dude, what's his
Saka,
name,
it's
dude?
Saka, it's Saka, it's Saka, it's Saka. Yeah, you're
Bukayo
talking
Saka.
about.
Bukayo
Yeah,
Saka.
you're talking about
The
the winger,
English
right?
under 21 kid.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
winger,
left
right?
back,
Yeah,
left back.
yeah, yeah,
The
yeah,
left back.
yeah, yeah,
Dude, that kid is so good. And
yeah,
he's been consistent, okay, for the last
yeah,
2-3 games. He's really good, dude. Like
yeah,
the dribbles that he makes, the runs, and the intelligent positional awareness,
yeah,
top class. Like
yeah.
he deserves to be in that Arsenal first team.
I
He
think
plays so well.
he's been voted like the top three best youngsters in the world football,
Yeah,
along
yeah,
with
yeah.
Greenwood. Yeah, so he's
I
really
don't
good
know about
actually.
world football, but surely in the Premier League, he's one of the top
Yeah,
three
yeah,
wonder kids.
yeah, yeah.
Too good.
I think I saw
Damn good
that.
that kid
Yeah, I
is.
think there was some voting going on. I think he was there with along with Greenwood and some other guy. I don't remember.
Huh, the Golden Boy Award.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The Golden Boy Award. Exactly, exactly. Yeah, that
I
one.
think Alphonso Davies will win because he's won the Champions League also with Bayern.
Yeah.
And he's had an unbelievable season, that kid, Alphonso
Oh,
Davies.
he's
So,
already the one of the best left back along with Robertson.
yeah, easily
Yeah,
one of the best left back in the
easily.
world.
Yeah, exactly.
Easy. That kid is too good.
Yeah. So I think with this
Yeah.
match, I couldn't say anything else like other than the fact like City, we didn't see a lot of that, City passing around, playing that tiki-taka football and, making chances
I
and
mean,
all
they
that.
did play well
Yeah.
because I think in the last two games or 3 games,
Yeah.
Arteta managed to outclass Guardiola
Yeah, exactly.
because they've been involved together as coach and assistant coaches and all that jazz.
Yeah.
But this time Guardiola managed to cut down a lot of stuff, and he managed to come out. I think Guardiola had the edge in this tactical match
Yeah.
because City were clearly the better team in
Yeah.
at least most of the areas.
Yeah.
But Arsenal, I think, sticking to their philosophy, that is playing from the back and all that stuff. I mean, like it just pains me to see that Oba, who's such a natural striker, who's such a
Yeah.
wonderful player as a number 9, as a pure number 9, he's playing so deep. He's
Mhm.
trying to make those runs. He's trying to put crosses. He's trying to create chances. And all. He does all of that quite well. But his natural position is that number 9 role,
Yeah.
which Lacazette has apparently occupied.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, I don't find Arsenal that exciting. They
But I
lack
think,
that, like you said, they lack that final
yeah.
thrust in that final third.
But I would say they're definitely playing better than they have played since years, I think. I think
Yeah,
this,
they are definitely playing better than
yeah,
how they were under Unai
yeah,
Emery.
exactly.
Arteta has significantly improved the team,
Yeah.
at least defensively and all that.
Yeah, they do like a real team which can challenge for the top four. Like they don't look like a team that could be bullied around, and
Yeah,
it could feel like it feels like they could put on a string of consistent performance that could like take them into the top four. So I would say that
yeah.
they're doing pretty well. But all in all, this match wasn't like there wasn't a lot of lot of stuff to talk about.
Yeah.
It
Yeah,
was
there was
just,
not a lot of fireworks
yeah,
as
exactly.
expected.
It was a very close game, and City came out on top because they played little bit better than Arsenal. That's it.
Yeah.
But other
They were
than
at least
that,
much better in the first half. They were pretty good.
exactly. So there wasn't a lot of thing to talk about. So I think we can move on to the
Yeah.
next match, which is it's not a big game, but I have to talk about it because this was so bad by Chelsea. Chelsea was a Southampton 3-3. Like,
Oh God, they were so
yeah,
good in the first half.
yeah,
Exactly what happened with Tottenham,
yeah,
so which we'll talk about.
yeah,
But Chelsea bottling it again, like they
yeah,
did it against West Brom of all people. I think
yeah,
in the earlier game week,
yeah.
3-3.
But what is surprising for me is like, people who criticize Ole for being incompetent, not experienced and all that, they don't do the same thing for Frank Lampard because
Yeah,
he's
that's
not
because
a,
he got
yeah,
crazy signings this window.
No,
So
I know
that
that.
kind of outweighs everything.
No, I know that. No, but he's not criticized in the same manner that Ole is. Like Ole, they always say if Ole performs well, he's like, oh, he's the one who put, I think it was Cardiff down in the championship, and he was in
Hmm.
Malta. He's not a proper top class. I mean, I agree, he's not a championship manager, like a champion winning manager. But like
Oh,
they don't put the same kind of criticism towards Frank Lampard as well. Like I think his managerial career, he just managed Derby, and they didn't even get a promotion into the Premier League.
promotion. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
like
Dude, but
why
see,
is he not criticized as much as Ole?
I think there are two reasons.
Yeah,
Okay, number one, he's been Chelsea's best player in the history of Chelsea.
yeah, that's
In the
true.
history of Chelsea, there has been no other better player than Lampard.
Yeah,
So I don't think any fan would have the balls to criticize Lampard for
yeah,
whatever he's done for Chelsea.
yeah,
He's been their best player for by a mile,
yeah,
right? And he I think he's had a major part in elevating Chelsea to where they are today.
yeah,
So that is one reason, and then second reason is the transfer window that they've had
yeah,
this season. You can't
yeah,
write that off at all. Like no matter how bad a manager you are,
yeah,
if you're getting some of the finest talents that are going to be world class players in the next 2-3 years, and that has to get fans excited. So that will instill a hope in the minds of fans, saying that it's okay. These guys are just getting used as a team. Frank will get his tactics right
yeah,
eventually, and all that stuff. They just
yeah,
need to gel and all that jazz. So
yeah.
I think those two key reasons are the reasons.
But at the same time, I feel like that puts an added pressure as well. Like, you got so many
Yeah,
players
yeah, yeah.
in.
If they don't finish top four this season,
Yeah, yeah.
then for sure Lamps is getting sacked.
No, I don't think this year. I think it's not. I think their objective is not to finish top four, not only to finish top four, but also to close that gap between Liverpool,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
like that 20,
yeah,
30
yeah,
gap that they had. The same thing
for
that
sure.
we have in this season as well. Like before the start of the
Yeah,
season, what we had, just like that. But their defense looks so bad. Like, oh my God, I did not
yeah.
expect them
Oh
to
man,
drop.
Kepa, dude, again, what a howler. I
Yup.
mean, you have to take your chances.
Yeah,
Like it's quite clear, it's well established now that Mendy is in the team.
yeah,
Kepa is hardly going to get any chances.
yeah,
Like
for
even if
sure.
it is the domestic cup games, they will go
Yeah.
to Caballero. I don't think they will employ Kepa on the goal.
Oh my
But
God.
you're so lucky that Mendy got injured, and you're
Yeah,
getting a stretch of at least 3-4 games where you can
exactly.
prove your mettle. There also you fuck up.
Oh. And to
The
add that too
the
against
one
Southampton,
Yeah,
Southampton.
of all people who
Yeah,
play such high lines of defense,
yeah,
you can score like shitloads of goals against them,
yeah.
and you fuck up against them of all people.
Oh my
Such a
God.
howler that goal was when what's his face, Che Adams scored the
Yeah,
goal from I
yeah,
think Danny Ings assist or something.
yeah.
That was really horrible. But
And
Chelsea were damn good in the first half, dude.
I know, dude. Like I would
Damn good.
expect, like props to Southampton for like getting back into the game, but like
Yeah.
losing
I
three
mean,
goals
Chelsea
advantage.
helped them get back. It's
Yeah,
not
yeah,
like
kind
the
of true.
first two
Yeah,
goals at least were silly goals.
yeah, yeah. True, 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 true. But it was like again, Danning
Okay.
scored another goal. Like Dannings has been scoring.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a player. I think
Danny Ings is too
he's too
Danny Ings is
good.
too good for Southampton. He
Exactly,
just
like
needs to move to he just needs to go to a better team, dude.
exactly, exactly.
Southampton is not the club he should play for.
Yeah, exactly. And but Southampton really showed like their balls in getting back into the game. Like they smelled that first
Yeah,
goal,
props to them.
and they knew that they had their chance. They smelled weakness from Chelsea. They knew that defensively they weren't good, and they exploited
Yeah,
that and
yeah,
got back into the game. Like I think if
yeah.
I feel like if there were 10 more minutes extra or 5 minutes extra, I feel like Southampton could have gotten a win for sure.
Could have gone the extra man.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I had two other points that I need to talk about is
Mm-hmm.
finally Timo Werner
Oh
coming to the
yeah,
party,
exactly.
and he was brilliant. He was
Yeah,
really good.
yeah.
I mean,
And
this
Kai
is what
Havertz
Timo
too.
Werner is all about, right?
And Kai
Kai
Havertz
Havertz
too, right?
as well.
Yeah, yeah,
Kai Havertz as well.
yeah.
So like this is the Werner that we know from
Yeah,
Bundesliga, and
exactly.
this is what Werner is capable of. This is just a glimpse of what he can do. He can
Yeah,
do so much more,
exactly.
and he was absolutely deadly. He could have easily scored a hat trick,
Yeah,
but he didn't. He
yeah,
was really good. Finally, I think Dhanush had his faith in Werner and kept him in
Whew.
his FPL team, and
Yeah,
he completely paid off. It completely paid off because I think after game week 2, the
yeah,
most number of transfer outs if the managers had was for Werner.
yeah,
He had like a 500,000 transfer out he had in FPL.
yeah, yeah,
So that's the scene.
I
And the
played the long
second
game.
person I want to talk about is Ben Chilwell.
Yeah.
Dude, what a guy that guy is. What a
Yeah.
left back he is.
Yeah.
His crosses are immaculate.
Yeah.
I think he had a crossing accuracy of, in both the games he played, he had a crossing accuracy of at least 95%.
Mm-hmm.
Pinpoint accuracy with all the crosses.
Yeah.
And he's so quick on the flanks. He's really good defensively. There were there's I think a couple of excellent tackles that he made, and he's so good going attack wise.
Yeah.
So good. Every time he goes in the front, it is a threat. It is a definite threat.
Yeah. True. I mean,
that is clearly the signs of a left back who is going to be a world class left back.
I know. I mean, we should have rather bought Chilwell instead of Maguire.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Exactly.
Not Maguire, instead of Van Bissaka.
Van Bissaka, I think so.
No,
yeah.
Van Bissaka or maybe even Alex Telles, because we are talking about left back, not a right back.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Van Bissaka is like one of the best defensive right back in the world, right?
Defensive.
Yeah.
Attack-wise, he's one of the worst.
Yeah,
Probably the worst.
Yeah, but the worst, I would say. Yeah, for sure. I think even goalkeepers would play better attacking-wise, I think, than him. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
but not Kepa.
Yeah, which is very surprising because he started off as a winger and then transitioned into being a right back. I don't get it. Why is he so bad when it comes to being? I mean, going forward.
Van Bissaka.
Van Bissaka. Yeah, when he started when he started football, he started as a winger and then he transitioned into. I mean, the coaches knew that he was very good defensively, so they transitioned him into being.
And of course, they would have seen his crosses and all of that stuff. Yeah. Then they are like, better to PJK. Exactly. You play the back only.
Oh my god. But anyways, I would say Chelsea, howler of a week for them. Like they 3 lead, they gave up.
They gifted the draw to Southampton.
Exactly. Oh my god, it was like so. I mean, as a United fan, it was so fun to watch, especially after the beating that we got from Spurs, where all the team laughed at us. It was nice to watch certain teams get laughed at.
Yeah, and Spurs bottled it in typical fashion.
Exactly.
Again.
Yeah.
Against who? Against West Ham.
Yeah.
My God. West Ham going into the game, West Ham had one of the best defense in the league.
Yeah.
They had conceded only 7 shots on target.
Yeah.
So I was kind of surprising that, I
would say
again the quality of the quality of Kane and Son.
Oh, dude.
Those two are just
how
too
good was
good,
Kane?
dude.
How good was Kane? Especially how good was Kane?
And you know what the fuck up is? You know what the worst part is?
Yeah.
I had put Kane in my team. Okay. And at 3:29 p.m., just 1 minute before the deadline, I changed Kane. I moved Kane and I put Raul Jimenez. Jimenez did score a goal.
1 goal.
But just imagine. I thought, I played 4D chess and I was like, okay, so Wolves are going to play Leeds. Leeds will play Highline. Wolves will play counter-attacking football.
Okay.
Jimenez will at least score 2 goals. This was my logic. And it completely turned out to be a dud. Kane went on to score I think Kane almost scored a hat-trick. He got 1 assist. Many people made him captain, which just rubbed salt into my wound.
Yeah.
So, but thankfully I had Son in my team. Son also got a goal and an assist.
Oh my god. But dude, Kane looks...
Dude, did you see that first assist that he gave to Son?
That was like a world-class midfielder assist.
Iniesta level. Iniesta level that was. I was like, oh my god, this guy.
That was like watching someone like Kevin De Bruyne or maybe Xavi playing a pass like that. That was a pinpoint that was so perfect. So perfect.
And Son being that speedy motherfucker. Yeah. Just too good. How good is that guy?
He finished it promptly. Yeah, for sure.
He is in that like Real Madrid Barca level, dude. Yeah. Tottenham and all. He should not play for Tottenham.
But
He's too good to play for Tottenham.
But I think we found Harry Kane's another best position. I think he plays really well as a false nine because, he's so good when it comes to. He's one of the deadliest strikers when it comes to goals, and also he has such amazing passing range, dude. Like it is so good.
I know.
Good.
This season, his passing have been, out of the world. Yeah. Unreal passing.
Oh my God.
If you look at that Southampton game where Son scored 4 goals, all the 4 assists were provided by Kane. And unreal assists, dude.
Yeah.
Like he is playing from, some right back position and all. He is giving some sexy passes and all he's giving.
Yeah, even in this match, he was tracking back. He was making tackles and all in the box. He was making, blocks and all that.
He plays with that attitude of that, I need to win the game. And I need to contribute to the
We saw in that documentary, right? He was telling Jose that he wants to become like Messi and Ronaldo.
Yeah.
So he's really gunning for that. If he plays like this, I definitely feel like he's going to win the Ballon d'Or. For sure. Because I don't
He
see a
has
lot of
that
players.
point. I mean, he's consistently been like after his first season where he
Yeah.
scored. I mean, the first season where he broke out, where he
Yeah.
scored 30 plus goals.
Yeah.
I thought that he was just a one season wonder,
Yeah.
but he's consistently proved his haters wrong.
Exactly.
And consistently across seasons, he's been scoring at least 20 goals, minimum of 20, 25 goals.
Yeah.
That just goes on to show, and in a very competitive league like the Premier League, what else do you need to prove?
True.
He has been consistently ranked among like one of the best strikers in the world.
Yeah.
Too good.
Yeah. Correct.
And like when he was in the academy, when he was growing up the ranks and all that stuff,
Yeah.
like Tottenham legends like Aaron Lennon and all the other people, they used to watch Kane. Like this, I heard on some other stream. So they used to watch Kane and they used to laugh at him, saying how bad Kane is.
Oh.
Like they used to make fun of Kane's ability as a player.
Really?
Nobody believed that Kane will go on to become the player that he is today. So that just goes on to show his determination and his go-getter attitude.
Exactly. But look, dude, I mean, I don't think I've seen anyone in Europe play as good as Kane right now. Like he's in hot form right now. Like
I mean, there is Lewandowski, but
I mean, no, I'm not talking about like just scoring goals. I'm talking as like in a complete player, like who has all the package.
The complete footballer.
Like correct. Someone like Ronaldo, like Ronaldo has the complete package. Like I don't think I've seen anyone like that since Ronaldo. Who's like a complete who can score goals, make assists, especially like assists, like such beauties that he put up in the last week game.
Yeah, man.
And also tracking back.
Tracking
back, defending as well. He's playing unreal under Jose, and I hope he continues. Yeah, exactly.
But talking about the second half, I mean, like typical Spurs fashion, they bottled it.
Yeah, I would say you have to give more credit to West Ham. Like they actually
West Ham, for sure.
Yeah, I mean David Moyes. I don't know what he's drinking or what he's eating. I don't know what is going. Is he doing something? I don't know.
And like as a United fan, it was kind of satisfying to see him get that draw towards him and him celebrating with so much happiness and all that stuff. It was kind of nice to see.
But the goals that they scored, dude.
Final goal, dude. That third, like that. My God. Like Peter Drury, like Drury said in the commentary, the goal of his dreams.
Oh.
Unbelievable goal. What an absolute screamer that was.
Peter Drury is amazing, dude.
Oh, it was so fun. Like,
oh God.
I mean, we can do an entire podcast about Peter Drury.
Yeah.
But that goal was mad, dude. Like, I was like, oh, fuck, what a game.
And that to score that goal like that in the last dying minute of the match.
Yeah,
oh my God.
The last few seconds, the last kick of the game that was. The last kick of the game.
Yeah, exactly.
So nice.
Yeah, like you could feel like the Tottenham players, like just crumbling down there.
They just couldn't believe it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh. Like there has to be a separate episode for this in the next season of All or Nothing.
Yeah.
For this game alone, I really want to see Mourinho
for sure
telling the players, why don't you guys be a cunts?
Is there a next season?
You guys should be cunts.
Is there a next season?
I think there should be.
Okay. I know Leeds they have their season right now, second season.
Yeah, but that's those are the only two episodes you'll get.
Yeah.
Second season was over.
Oh, okay. Okay.
It'll
be fun.
Yeah, so Spurs bottled it. I mean, what more can you tell?
Yeah,
true. Spurs fashion, they bottled it.
Yeah. So that was very satisfying for me, especially after that, after that beating that we got from Spurs.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what were the other games?
Other than that, I think before we get
we have to talk about the United game.
We'll get to that because I know we'll talk a lot about it. But before that, we'll just finish up with the last two matches that are Leicester versus Aston Villa, where Leicester.
Oh,
what is going on with them? I don't know.
Dude, I mean, I didn't care much about the game, but I did see the game.
Yeah.
But one player I want to talk in particular about is just how good is Jack Grealish.
Oh,
that guy, dude.
I've told you, right? He's good, dude. A lot of people rate him. That's it. He's really good.
Man, what a game he had, dude. What a game.
Exactly.
I mean, and he's such an unselfish guy, dude. He doesn't take any shots.
Yeah.
Which pisses the fuck out of me. He was there in my F1 team again, which really pisses me. And he's too good just to be an assister.
Yeah.
He always tries to assist. Like even when he has clear shot taking chances, he doesn't take the shot. He tries to, do some ridiculous pieces of skill and tries to pass it to somebody else.
Exactly.
And what skill he has, though.
Yeah.
What skill he has. Every time he's on the ball, the
Yeah.
defender gets shit scared.
And he's still not being, given a starting position in the England team. I don't get it.
England, that call-up he's not getting. He will definitely get it.
No, he's been called up, okay, but he's not getting into the starting team. That's what I don't get. Like Gareth Southgate, dude. That guy is a dumbass. Like the way coaches England have such a good team. They could become the world champions actually.
Number one team, number one team they can become.
They can be, because they have good young talents. At the same time, they're good experienced player as well. But with that kind of stupid, shitty coach, I don't think they'll win the World Cup or even the Euros for that matter.
Yeah. I completely forgot when we were talking about the Tottenham game. I'll just take a minute to address this. By the way, Bale was back. And it was so exciting to see Gareth Bale back in the Premier League. And but it clearly looked like Bale was smoking some 4 packets of cigarette per day, because he was clearly tired.
Exactly.
Like he needs a lot more game time.
And
but
he missed
there was this
chance,
one moment.
He missed a chance, right? He missed a chance to.
There was this one moment when he did a ridiculous piece of skill. Like he beat like some 2-3 players, and I thought he finished the goal. He converted the goal, but he missed it. It was a very close miss. Immediately afterwards, West Ham scored. So it was nice to see Bale back in action. Hopefully, we can get to see more of him.
I think as the season goes on, he'll get properly back to his fitness, and then I think you can see a lot more better Bale than we saw in Madrid recent years.
Yeah.
But I have to say, like Aston Villa slowly, like no one's noticing them, but they're slowly creeping up the table. Right now, they're second in the table.
They kept another clean sheet. Yeah. They managed to keep another clean sheet, which is a rarity. 3 clean sheets. All the games, except the Liverpool game, all the games were a clean sheet for them.
Exactly. They haven't yet lost a game, dude. They are like second in the table right now, with 1 game in hand, just like United, with 1 game in hand. If they win the next one, they would just go easily on top right now.
I really hope so, man. Because they are a team to look out for. They have, like last season, they were struggling to be out of that relegation zone. They were conceding lots of goals, and they have fixed that by buying possibly one of the best goalkeeper in the league. And I don't know, for the love of God, how on earth did Arsenal let go of Emiliano Martinez? He is too good of a goalkeeper.
Exactly.
And he deserved to get off Arsenal, because they were continuously, Leno is a good goalkeeper. And obviously, as long as Leno is there, I don't think Martinez starting.
So it's good he moved to
Martinez is such a good goalkeeper, really goalkeeper. And for people who are playing FPL, all the FPL managers, Leno is an insane steal of a buy for 4.6.
I have him. I have him.
I had him in my team as well. Leno is a great FPL asset, because he is a very good manager, and he will definitely give you clean sheets. At least by the looks of how Aston Villa is playing right now. And their defense, they've got Matty Cash, who's an excellent defender, who's really good. And I think they have strengthened their defense. That's why it's clearly reflecting in the game they are playing. And they have got a very good striker in the form of Ollie Watkins. He's great. He's been one of the top 3 strikers in Championship for Brentford.
And they have Ross Barkley too, who's playing really well.
Barkley, for all the potential he has, he's always underperformed to his potential. He's always been a gifted midfielder.
When you look at their midfield, it's actually pretty good. McGinn, Grealish, and Rob Barkley. It's a pretty good midfield actually when you look at it.
Barkley is really good, dude. Barkley.
Exactly.
He takes a lot of shots. McGinn also takes a lot of shots. McGinn provides a lot of long balls.
And
Grealish, though, we already know
he runs away from everywhere, from everyone. Exactly. But
it looks a very, very. It looks like an all-round team, like a solid all-round team.
True. The only thing that would set up everything, upset everything, would be an injury. So as long as they keep everything fit, I think they could sustain this run. But they're playing Leeds next week, so let's see what happens. It would be a very fun match to watch.
That would be a very interesting game to see.
So speaking
2 championship team.
So speaking of Leeds actually lost against Wolves 1-0.
Which was quite surprising. But Wolves were pretty good, dude. They were actually pretty good. First half, Leeds dominated entirely. I think Leeds should have scored at least one of the goals.
Exactly. And they had 1 goal.
And my God, look again, the pressing, dude. I don't know how they manage to sprint so much.
Yeah.
I think, like in the Premier League stats, they are the team with the most number of sprints.
Yeah.
They just run like it's called murder ball or something. So like this is the nickname that is given to Sari's tactics.
Yeah.
He plays murder ball like during the training. That's how much they train apparently. So like if you look at that first game and even in the second game, the amount of pressing that they do, man, it's just unreal.
I'm telling
pressing.
you, right? Like we're just waiting for that, second half of the season where I think
where
they will definitely
end up with
gain.
a lot of injuries.
For sure. We can't sustain that. Even though you are like a physical specimen, it's very hard to sustain that. So let's see what happens with that. But all in all, I would say Leeds should have at least gotten a point from it. But Wolves, again, they defended well. They got through it.
They defended quite well.
Yeah. Rahul, I mean, again, the goal was the deflection goal. I mean, you would say it was kind of cruise on.
I was just praying that it wasn't declared as a known goal.
Yeah,
I was just praying that it shouldn't be declared as a known goal because then I would have lost my FPL points.
Yeah.
Completely waste of a move it would have been from my part. But thankfully, Jimenez got one goal and.
Yeah, it was kind of cruel that Leeds didn't get a point, but hey, that's football. What can you do about it? Yeah, exactly. So I think now we can move on to the United game. That was United versus
Newcastle. We can move to the main course of the discussion.
Exactly. I mean, finally, it was so nice to see United play, dude. Like, they actually played.
And like, if you discount that first goal, discount that own goal, which I will definitely blame Luke Shaw for because that guy just doesn't use his brain. He only uses legs, is what I feel. If you discount that, United were pretty good.
Yeah.
They were attacking, and it was nice to see some good football.
Yeah.
Bruno was brilliant. Rashford was brilliant.
How good was Mata?
Yeah. Oh man,
Mata is so good.
Mata, like when has Mata ever been bad?
Yeah.
Like I get it that he's aging and I mean he's not got that legs around. He's not got the horsepower in his legs.
Yeah, you should know where to play Mata.
Yeah, like United have always had the creativity problem, and I mean we don't have that creative midfielder who can make things in an instant. That's the thing. That's what you get with when you buy a Spanish midfielder. Spanish midfielders are natural midfielders.
Yeah.
Are naturally gifted and technically, probably technically one of the most sound, some of the most sound midfielders in the world.
Yeah.
Technique-wise, they're too good. They are insanely gifted. And Mata has always been that player. He's been like that David Silva kind of player. Kind of player.
Yeah.
He's always been good with his technique. His creativity is just too good. It's that Spanish flavor.
And his touch is so good. His touch is amazing as well.
It's so fluid. It's so graceful to watch him play.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
I mean, who cares? Like, if you can create a lot of chances, like nobody really cares if you can cover or track back and all that stuff.
Exactly.
You're an attacking midfielder and you play like one.
Yeah.
I think he should start more often.
Like, I think, true. I mean, not a lot of people, a lot of managers who have managed United haven't used him properly. Like, the best way to use Mata is to make sure he drops back and he pings ball to the forward so that they can carry it forward and then he can get into the box to create chances for them.
Yeah.
Because he's so good at finding passes and with his touch too.
Exactly. There was not one bad pass that he made.
Yeah.
Every pass that he made landed.
Exactly.
Almost like Thiago, he was as important as Thiago was to Liverpool.
And where is Thiago from again?
Spain.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what you get with the Spanish midfielders, man. Yeah. They are a cut above everyone.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I mean, I don't want United to sell Mata. I would rather make sure that he's still there at United because he even rejected that 15 million contract that was offered to him from a Dubai Saudi football club. Right? Yeah, which is so nice to hear from as a United fan because we actually know that he loves the club that he's playing for.
I think anyone else in his place would have definitely taken that because Mata hasn't been getting a lot of game time and his future is quite bleak. I don't think I don't see him at United for another 3 or 4 years. He'll definitely have to eventually leave the club. Yeah, and despite that, he's still respecting and he wants to play for United.
Yeah, this is the kind of player that we want. Player like Mata, Herrera, who play for the shirt.
Herrera,
Pogba, who talk about Real Madrid like every single chance that they get.
It's an absolute douchebag, dude.
Yeah, ridiculous, dude. Yeah, but anyways, like it was so nice to see Mata play, especially. I mean, I would say like he could easily could have been, if not for Bruno, he could have easily been the man of the match for that game,
Yeah,
without even
for
any
sure.
doubt, for sure. Yeah, and so yeah, Bruno scored like I think he scored 2 goals, right? Bruno scored 2 goals.
No, he missed the penalty,
He missed
which
a
was quite a
penalty.
shocker.
Yeah.
And he scored a
Oh yeah, yeah,
sensational
yeah,
goal, but
yeah,
it was deemed offside.
yeah, 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 yeah.
That was ruled off.
Yeah.
Oh, that goal, that finish was insane, dude.
Yeah.
But
True.
again, the goal which he scored and the build-up of that goal was so good.
That was so instant.
Good to watch.
Yeah, that was like watching United
the
pre-lockdown. Yeah.
Exactly. And the football that led up to that goal was so pleasing to the eye.
Oh,
it just made my day.
And even Rashford played pretty well as well. Like we finally saw.
Also played well.
And thank goodness Maguire got a goal. I feel like that would have
his... That guy, he badly needed that.
Yeah.
But I mean, because I think he was also sent off in the game for England. He was playing for England. He had a red card against him.
Yeah.
So it would have done a whole lot of good to his confidence.
Yeah.
Getting this goal. I mean, like it was also kind of reflective in the celebration that he had.
Yeah.
It was very meek, subdued celebration that he had.
And I think in the last episode we were actually bashing on Ole, saying that if he picked Maguire for the next game, we would be like Ole out and all that.
Yeah.
So it was a risk that Ole took.
But I still think United is too good for Maguire. Maguire doesn't deserve to play.
Yeah, for sure. Even I agree with that. He could be maybe a good rotation player, but not a starting 11 player for United for sure.
Yep. And definitely not captain material.
Exactly. And also, like the most surprising thing in the entire week for me was Aaron Wan-Bissaka scoring a goal. That was the most surprising thing.
Wan-Bissaka getting his debut goal.
Yeah, exactly.
Poor guy, dude. Papa.
Yeah. And the finish was great too. Like the finish was really good as well.
It was actually a very good goal.
Yeah, the goal was really good. Like we want to see more of that, like from Wan-Bissaka, instead of like I mean the way that he goes forward is like so lanky, and it's like he's kind of like a snake. He doesn't know where he's going. He sometimes
yeah.
It's kind of weird.
He tries too hard to cross every time, and always he fails.
Yeah, and too hard to get away from defenders instead of just pinging it and going forward. Yeah, it's kind of we like to see more direct football from Aaron Wan-Bissaka, especially going forward. But he was good as well. Like there wasn't a lot of mistakes that he made. Yeah. And overall, like a really solid performance if you take away the first 10 minutes. But Newcastle, like I think the only good thing I could say about Newcastle was their French forward. Maximin.
Man, he's just so good to watch, dude. Like
exactly.
He is so good to watch when he has the ball, because he will go forward and he will dribble at least beyond 2-3 players. And it's nice to watch as a football fan.
He was the only one who was causing problems for United. That's it. Yeah. Other than that, no one threatened United.
Another player who is super underrated in Newcastle is Jonjo Shelvey.
Yeah.
He's almost like Scholes level, dude, in their team. His passes are amazing.
Thank goodness you said in their team.
In their team. Of course.
I was like,
no comparison to Scholes because
what are you comparing? When you said Scholes, yeah.
No, because he's that good, dude. He's got great vision. If you see Jonjo Shelvey's passes, he's got amazing vision. He picks up beautiful passes. He always creates wonderful chances. It's just that the front line is a shitty front line. And they don't have enough players supporting converting his good passes. But Jonjo Shelvey is actually a very good.
Long range shot is pretty good as well. Like
long range shots are also amazing. So
pretty good. Another props that I have to give is De Gea, dude. De Gea was so good. That save that he made, Callum Wilson save.
Yep. It was a definite goal which he saved.
Classic De Gea that was, like the De Gea that we were, when he was at his peak.
We've all known.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like it's good that, he's got competition from Dean Henderson now, breathing down his neck. It's actually improving.
But I really want to see Dean Henderson in the first team.
Yeah, I want to see. But if you're getting like your informed De Gea, I'm like, I don't have any arguments with playing De Gea in goal. Like I would say that like he saved us. Like I think we could have considered 1 or 2 goals if not for him.
Yeah. The Callum Wilson goal, though, I thought Pakka it is going in.
Yeah, for sure.
But thankfully, De Gea made a wonderful save.
Such an amazing reaction. That was like that save reminded me that Sevilla save that he made in the Champions League.
In Europa League.
Europa League. Yeah. Was it? No, I think it was Champions League. It was Champions League.
Europa. I remember.
No.
This was the 2018 season when
Yeah.
United won the Europa League.
No. No. It was the Champions League where we got knocked out by Sevilla in the round of 16.
I
Yeah.
think United won that.
No.
Okay,
No. No.
maybe
No.
I'm wrong.
No. It was the round of 16. I think we got knocked out.
Mhm.
Yeah. So it was kind of like that. But De Gea is playing really well. Like even though we have conceded like 12 or 11 goals, I don't think it's De Gea's
Oh.
fault. It's because of our defense. So I
I
would say
mean,
that.
De Gea also is to be blamed because a lot of goals he's considered as are actually very silly goals.
Yeah.
Are clearly different, savable goals that he had
In
considered.
this season, I would say maybe one or two. That's it. Not a lot.
He's made mistakes, dude. I mean, he's had his howler moments.
In this
But
season.
again, it's De Gea we're talking about.
Yeah. In this season, I don't
I
think.
still feel.
Yeah, except for the
Yeah,
Son goal, I would say going through the legs. I don't think anything else. I think he made a lot of mistake. I think a lot of defense of our defense has made a mistake, and he had to take a blame for it. Because again, he's a goalkeeper, right? If you score a goal, that's it. You're done. I mean,
Yeah.
if you concede a goal, yeah. So I would say United. It was nice to see United like finally kick in
Yeah.
form.
All-round performance, I would say.
And we are coming
Except
up.
that.
We are coming up against Chelsea. So I don't know how we are gonna do in that match. So.
And we also have a game in half an hour against the PSG.
Yes.
So,
Exactly.
But I don't know. Like, this is really shameful of me to say, but it's a good news. It's kind of a good news for us. I think 8 players and staff members from PSG have tested positive for COVID, but there is still Neymar and Mbappe. So I am just waiting to see how they will bamboozle that dumb fuck of Luke Shaw. So I just want to see that.
I'm actually hoping that Cavani plays in this game and scores.
I really don't care because I'm not a fan of Cavani.
I want him to play. I want him to play. It would be nice, dude. It would be nice to see him play, and also maybe Telles as well.
Kind of poetic.
And also see Telles.
I think Telles will start today.
Yeah.
Because Telles will start today. There is no Maguire. There is no Bailly.
Yeah.
And who else?
Is the team sheet out?
The decision. Sorry. No. It should be out in 5 more minutes. Okay. Yeah. And this game is being the captain for this game is Bruno Fernandes, which I think every United fan at the moment wants to see.
Yes.
So that will be amazing.
Yes.
And Bruno was quite happy also that he is being made captain. He was
the lineup is out actually. The lineup is out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So do you want me to tell? I mean, we'll
let's go ahead.
We'll talk a little bit about this and we'll finish it off. Okay.
Yeah.
So for Paris, it's Navas in goal. Florenzi in the back four, they have Florenzi, Danilo, Kimpembe, and Kurzawa. Yeah, Kimpembe and Kurzawa. In the so their formation is 4-3-3. In the midfield three, they have Herrera, Pereira, and Guy. How do you pronounce his name? Idrissa Gueye. Yeah. So
there in Everton.
Yeah. And in the front three, they have Di Maria, Mbappe, and Neymar. So that's going to be threatening. But
it's a full string squad almost.
Yeah, exactly. But we have handled them before, like in the last game. So I don't know. We can do. I think we can do it. But
that game was clearly a fluke in my. Yeah. I mean, I to this day I still believe that game we won by fluke.
Yeah. To some extent.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I think this is a little bit like I'm a little concerned because in this game we are actually playing 5-3-2.
Yeah. I read in some United forums that we might play 5-3-2.
Yeah. So we are actually starting with De Gea, not Henderson, which is surprising for me to see.
5-3-2 or 3-5-2?
5-3-2.
Okay.
Yeah. So we are starting De Gea in goal, which is surprising because I thought Dean would play in this game. So in the back five, we have left back as Telles.
Expected him to start. Yeah.
Yeah. Left center back, it's Luke Shaw. Center back, it's
Lindelof on the right side.
Lindelof in the middle, and on the right center back, it's Tuanzebe.
Tuanzebe, I don't know what is the logic behind starting Tuanzebe? He hasn't had any game time.
Exactly.
In the last 1 year.
Yeah, so I hope he plays well. I don't want him to but he's again going up against Neymar and Mbappe. So let's see what happens there. And on the right, it's right back, it's Wan-Bissaka.
Okay. So Tuanzebe is playing as a right centre back.
No. He's playing. No,
Oh, they're
Tuanzebe
playing
is,
five at the back. Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
five
They're
at
playing
there.
five at the back.
Yeah. So right center back is Tuanzebe, and on the right back it's Wan-Bissaka.
Wan-Bissaka.
And in the middle, in the midfield position, this is like very concerning for me because I feel like with this midfield we're gonna get thrashed. On the left or the left midfield we are playing Bruno. In the middle we are playing McTominay, and on the right we are playing Fred. I don't know
Oh,
how
not
this.
Matic. I thought Matic was going to start.
Dude, forget about Matic. Why is Van de Beek not starting in this game?
Van de Beek is definitely going to leave at the end of this year.
Yeah, dude. What is the point of buying him
so.
if you're not going to start him, especially in a game like this? Oh my God. But anyways, and in the front two, we have Martial and Rashford.
Oh, okay. So Cavani is not starting. Cool.
Yeah. But I would say that, take off McTominay, put Fred in that middle position, and on the right, put Van de Beek in. You would have a good midfield. Yeah. Right.
Yep.
Like this dude Ole, I don't know what is going on in his head, but McTominay, dude,
we will find out after this game.
Yeah, he actually didn't play well against Newcastle as well. Like he was the only guy who didn't play well against Newcastle.
Who?
McTominay. Yeah.
McTominay.
And he wasn't even subbed off until the end of the game, which is surprising.
I think it's for the defensive impetus that.
But you know how defensively bad he is. We saw that in the Crystal Palace game.
I mean,
he was so bad
defensively. He's okay.
Attacking wise,
I mean, he at least tracks back. Like if he misses, he goes and tracks back, and he takes that foul and all, which is kind of okay. Which I think is in my opinion, is the most sensible solution, because on the other side you have Mbappe and Neymar.
Yeah.
Who's just constantly attack. So I think you need like a defensive presence.
But you put Fred in the middle, and on the right you put Van de Beek, because Van de Beek tracks back.
Van de Beek is a no-brainer, is what I feel.
And on going for, like, if you're breaking, then on the counter attack you could put Van de Beek would be very useful in picking up passes. Yeah, playing those balls.
Yeah, I think as the game progresses, they'll shift formations and adjust accordingly.
Yeah. But I know.
I think.
I know a lot of people won't like the 5-3, especially playing in the 5.
Yeah, this is kind of surprising, kind of new to me.
It's a very.
But again, I did read in some of the forums that we might. But I thought it was actually 3-5-2, but 5-3-2 is quite surprising.
Yeah, it's a very defensive formation, so I don't know how defensive they'll be. So I hope they play.
So good. I don't know if we'll have goals from this game, but let's see.
Yeah. But anyways, I think we'll end it off because I think we have to go and watch the match. Right, it's like 20 minutes before.
Yeah. I haven't recharged also. I think this game is available on Sony 10.2, right? HD. Just check.
You have Hotstar,
10.2 HD or?
I think you have a Hotstar, right?
No, Hotstar, my Champions League game won't come. Only the Premier League games.
Oh yeah. Sony 10.2, yeah. So I think
10.2 or 10.2 HD.
I think 10.2 or 10.2 HD. I think HD. It's on both. I think it's on both.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think we'll end it off in this one. We'll do another episode this week because we need to talk about the Champions League, and also we need to give out our prediction as well, because that is what people care about. What people look out for. So we need to
the 1.5% people who listen to us. That's what they care about.
Exactly. Now I think it's up to 2. I think.
Yeah. Oh, our good friend Pravesh is watching. So
yeah, exactly. I think the half a person found his other half, so I think he's put it back together. Yeah.
Yes.
So it's 2 now. So it's good. We are progressing slowly. So it's nice. Yes. So that's it for this.
Like, share, and subscribe, guys.
Exactly. Like, share, subscribe, and if you haven't checked out our YouTube video, check it out. If you're listening to the podcast, because why wouldn't you want to see at Steven's gorgeous face? His stupendous hair and his pointy nose. And that you ruined it. Okay.
You guys will get a giveaway. I'll give you free hugs.
Okay.
I'll give you free hugs over the internet.
Yeah, so, I think we lost like half a subscriber now.
Yeah. We have only like 3 subscribers.
Yeah.
Which half we've lost.
Yeah, half we lost. Yeah. So on that disappointing note, I think we'll end it off. Like, share, subscribe, and we will see you in the next one. See ya.